live right now? Okay. All right, guys. One thing many people underrate in the sport of time that we call chess is that sometimes in life you gotta get to the end game, right? And this was a clear to me at least invitation. Now I'm gonna be honest, I completely blundered this night after this. I don't know what I was thinking. After takes, I could have easily just retreated my knight right here, or even and traded off the knights. And it's actually -1. It's not winning. Yeah, they actually like knight. Uh, Okay, that is just the best move. So knight c3. Um, and we would play chess. Maybe we get takes. You know, to isolate this pawn, but it's also could be a passer at some point. But it's life, so I after this I'll blend it tonight, and we have to play chess after that. um, but look at the position. I'm down a piece, and we're in the end game. And the pawn count. Let's do the count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 2, 7. Completely equal. Meaning, the only thing that is maintaining the balance of the game is the fact that I'm down a piece. And the balance of the game is that it's not really balanced because I'm actually just losing. You see, it's -2. So we did not need to get to that point. We did not need to see all of that. So, right, we get here. And this, I'm going to be honest, as a not a good end game player myself, is the worst end game player I've ever seen. So he gives this check, which is okay. And then he gives this check, which is also okay. But then he also almost repeats move for a second and then walks into this, which not only stops this pawn in his track, it stops this knight. So I just was able to shut the knights out. And we go here. I actually shouldn't have done this because after here, um, all the dust settles, still down a piece. Well, actually, this is actually pretty fine. It actually gives the advantage back to me. So let's actually, I'm gonna actually talk through this because I don't want to just rush through these moves because this is the end game and this is a very important part, probably the most important part of chess, especially when you only have a minute on the clock. You gotta get in your Hikaru blitz mindset, and I had to channel that in me for sure. So my gut feeling was telling me trade the rooks, win this pawn, and now I am up a pawn, and that's just it. Like I won the knight, uh, meaning I'm not down a piece no more. You see, rook and bishop versus knight and rook, completely equal, and he gives a check. And this is another part of the end game. You have to be brave with your king. You can't be scared with your king. You have to be able to be willing to walk. And now he actually, oh no, this just trades off the bishop, so and bishop and knight. So now this is a rook end game. And the key to a rook end game is not only who has the open file, because we both have the open file, and that's usually what's going to happen in a rook end game, which is why it's actually completely equal. And apparently, rook d4 would have been better. I'm guessing because this pawn is a pass pawn and trying to target it, and the rook is not, there to defend it. But I was like, okay, let me get this one because I wasn't really worried about this one because I had a blockade going, so there was probably no way that was going to happen. And you're going to see in the game, I was pretty much right. So we get here, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to break through? How am I going to break through? And I'm like, okay, let me just get to this rook. Get to this rook. This rook is very close to the king, and he's guarding this pawn, and this pawn is the one I'm scared of. This one, because if he gets this one to be a passer, it's lights out, and I know for a fact he's not winning this f pawn, right? And you're gonna see for a fact he did not win the f pawn, and here he completely just blunders the game away. We're in a rook game. Why are you just giving me your rook? Because now I can just sack my rook whenever I want, which is exactly what I do. Like yeah, you can defend this pawn, but I'm just a pawn up at the end of the day. And I was like, okay, I could take, right? Wait, yeah, I could take and then take, but you see, look, the advantage is equal. So the reason I said, okay, here I need to just sack the rook because that's his only way of winning. Because my rook is just going to win this pawn if he doesn't guard it. Or he's going to leave the defense of the pawn. And again, this is where I say you have to be brave with your king. You have to bring your king. So the king can eat stuff too. And I ate this last pawn, and yeah, you got my rook, but I'm just gonna slowly march up the board. Uh, a lot of this, not king g4. I can honestly, definitely learn how to walk my king a little bit better, but that's something I plan on learning soon. But it's life. We'll get there eventually, hopefully. And if not, we won't have much love to spare. Anyways, make a queen, right? Make a queen. And this is where a lot of people end up stalemating, including myself. I have stalemated. And look, I have 16 seconds on the clock, guys. I am somehow down 4 minutes. I don't know. I think too much. Sometimes I get distracted. Sometimes I laugh. I'm just sitting there laughing at Chris move a little too much. And maybe some Berlizzi's playing. Maybe I'm like, oh Gotham, you inspired me so much. And it all just ends up distracting me. Sometimes I get on Twitter and you know, Twitter, it's not a real place. So I mean, who knows what you're gonna see on there? Anyways, this is the key. Knight opposition. Knight opposition. Get the whoa, that is terrible error draw. Get the king in knight opposition, and you maintain it. And how you maintain it is not by just giving checks. You can give checks and force the king to run and commit to a square. That's fine, but you are not really engaging in the technique for one, and two, you don't really know like the king could run wrong square and then it's made in one, right? But because it all depends because on the king, because that's the only other piece on the board in this game. Meaning you have to mate with the king and the queen. Like the king, you cannot mate by doing something like this. It's just not gonna work because the king is just gonna find a square to run to. Like you know what I mean? So put the king knight opposition, and you mirror whatever the king does. So he slid back on the diagonal. I slide back on the diagonal. He goes down, down, back on the diagonal. You see, completely mirrors him all the way to the corner. Once you have him to the corner, and the fact he's on the A1 square is pretty funny to some people, but it's not funny to me. You just bring your king. You bring your king. You just walk him as close as possible. Now here, you do not stalemate. Do not well, this doesn't stalemate. This will allow him to go back to A1 and then you can check either way, right? But do not stalemate. Okay? Cannot bring your king any closer once you get here. Once you see some kind of interaction with your queen like this, where they're kind of a little bit close and touching and maybe hugging. I mean, I don't know exactly. We don't know exactly what they're doing each other, but it's life. So, then you can deliver mate, right? And it's multiple ways to do it. Well, from here, yes, it's only one. You see, it's only queen b2. That's the only mate. But here, well, I think you would have to bring your king a little bit more. Is that what it's saying? No, this is also just mate. Wait, oh, wait, yeah. So okay, I don't know. It's been a long day, guys. I've played a lot of chess, but point being is, bring your king. Make sure he's in the corner or close to it. So either A1, A2, H1, or seventh or eighth rank, first or second rank, uh, A or H file, or in seventh, eighth. You get the point, right? So make sure he's pretty much cornered, and then you just bring your queen to a square that's defended by the king, right? Because the king has already cut off from this position, this and this, which is technically also cut off by the queen. So there's only one square that if you allow him to run to, he will be able to run to, which is also what makes the it adds to beauty to the pattern, is that the B2 square is not even, well, technically B2 you can't even run to B2, but like the B2 square is the kind of the only square in this box that's created that isn't really like covered. So that's where you put your queen. And I mean, it's just that simple. Bring your king. Well, I'm gonna say it one more time. Not opposition. Mirror the king with the queen. Don't make a rook or nothing. I mean, you can win with a rook, but it's a way different technique, and you're gonna hate yourself trying to do it. So bring your bring your queen. Make sure the king's in the corner. Don't bring your king until he's in the corner. Do not, just don't even try to, like, you can, I mean, you really could, right? You honestly could. I mean, I'm not going to try and stop anybody, it's life, but you will end up either stalemating, probably, and I'm just saying this from experience, or you will just flat out allow him to run. Really, that's really what it is. I mean, you just allow him to run. Like, if you hear and you start trying to bring your king, like, he'll just like, oh, wait, well, here, like, say you get to here, you're like, okay, I'm gonna bring my king. He's gonna start running. But well, this is different because but you get the point. Like, he's gonna start trying to run because eventually you may even block your queen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be like perfect technique if you're doing it like that, because you get something like this. Let me actually show you an example. Right? You get something like this, and you try to walk him. He's running out, and now it's still making two. But now you're like, oh fuck, I'm fucking up because he's running, right? You know what I'm saying? So don't even waste your time trying to do extra. Once you got him in the corner, then you bring your king because, well, let me go back to what actually happened. Yeah, then you bring your king because he's only this shuffle. This is the king shuffle, the dead king shuffle. Think about it like that. He's just going to shuffle between the second, first rank, or sometimes, depending on the interaction, he'll shuffle to the A or B file. He'll shuffle around like this and this. Like, he'll shuffle out the corner, back into the corner, out in, out in. You'll get that same interaction, and then you can deliver your checkmate by just making sure the king is defending the queen, because that's the only threat. The only threat when given a check is that, let's say you go too early, you will lose the game on it. Well, you will just, this will be a stalemate just via insufficient material. That's exactly what it'll tell you. But make sure your king is there so that queen has just that one piece of backup. That's all she'll need, is one piece of backup, and she'll be able to corner the king pretty easily. Now get out of here.